On to our last three examples for this unit. So we're looking here, again, they've told us that these two lines are parallel. L and M are parallel. So we know special things about alternate interior angles and consecutive interior angles right here. So these are two consecutive interior angles. They're not congruent. Again, you can kind of just tell that from looking. You've got an obtuse and an acute. They're not congruent, but we do know that they add, they add to equal 180 degrees. Okay, so they are supplementary. So let's go ahead and just fill in those two angles. We've got the 6x minus 7 added to the 3x minus 29, and that'll equal our 180 degrees. Solve for x really quickly. We could combine some like terms. 6x plus 3x is 9x. Then we've got our negative 7 minus 29, so we've got a negative 36. That's equal to 180. When we go to solve, we are just going to add 36 to both sides. 9x is equal to 216 divide by 9, and x here is equal to 216 divided, 216 divided by 9, that is equal to 24. Okay, so that's one of our variables. We're still missing our y variable. So to find y, here's y over here, but we're going to solve for this angle right here using our x value. Okay, so we know our x is 24. So if we plug it in and do 6 times 24, we've got 144, subtract 7. This angle right here is 137. So notice these two angles here, they're vertical angles. They're across from each other. So they're equal. We know that vertical angles are congruent. So we can say that 137 is equal to this 8y plus 17. And then go ahead and solve. Subtract our 17 from both sides. 120 is equal to 8y. 120 divided by 8. We divide both sides of the equation by 8. Y here is equal to 15. So x is 24, y is 15. Let's look at the next example right here. We have, beautiful picture. Again, they tell us these two angles, or these two lines. So these are my parallel lines right here. Those are the ones that are parallel. Now there's lots and lots of stuff going on here, but let's look at what involves our x's first. So when we're looking at this, sorry, still have the phone interrupting me, but we're back. So when we're looking at this, notice this angle right here is a corresponding angle. So if you look, here's my transversal. So this is kind of on this side of the x. It's going to correspond with this angle, that 49 added to the 3x. So those are corresponding angles right here. They're equal. So we can go ahead and add these together and say that 49 plus 3x is equal to 7x minus 23. And then we solve. Let's go ahead and get our x's on the same side. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So I've got a 4x over here. Let's add 23 to both sides. And so I have, a 72 over here. Divide by 4, and 72 divided by 4, x is equal to 18. Okay, x is equal to 18. Now, when we look at this, so we were using corresponding angles using this lovely transversal that time. Now, though, we're going to ignore that transversal. We're going to look at this transversal, because this one has to do with our angle right here. That y, the equation with the y touches that transversal. So notice this angle corresponds with this angle. Those two are your corresponding angles. They are congruent. So we can go ahead and substitute. We know what x is. X is equal to 18, so we can substitute that in. We just have 3 times 18. So this angle here is 54 degrees. And then we can go ahead and set those equal to each other. So 54 is equal to 11y minus 1. To solve, we're going to add 1. 55 is equal to 11y. Divide by 11, and y is equal to 5. You solved for both of your variables. Okay, last one. Let's look at this one. Oh, what a fun one. Notice right here again, here's your two parallel lines, L and M. Those are parallel. So what type of angles are these angles? If you treat this as your transversal right here, these are on alternate sides of that transversal, but they're inside your parallel line. So these are your alternate interior angles. They are congruent. Okay, so 3x minus 4 is equal to 5x minus 38. And then we can go ahead and solve. Let's get our x's on the same side. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So I have a 2x over here. And I'm also going to add 38 to both sides. So 38 minus 4 is 34. When I go through to divide by my 2, x is equal to 17. Okay, x is equal to 17. Let's go ahead and plug it in so we can find the measure of this angle right here. Okay, so we're just going to plug it in for that x. We're going to say 3 times 17 is 51. Subtract 4 gives me an angle measure of 47 degrees. Now, to find our y right here, y up here, notice one thing about y. Let's look at this transversal this time. We're going to ignore the green transversal and look at this transversal. This one and this angle right here, these are your alternate interior angles, and they are the same. So I'm going to go ahead and say that 7y minus 20 is this angle as well. Okay, those are the same angles, alternate interior angles. So here's the great thing. Notice right here, I now have a straight line, straight angle right here. So these three angles, those three angles right there add up to my straight angle, or my 180 degrees. So I know this angle here is 47 degrees. This angle here is 90 degrees. This angle is my 7y minus 20. And I'm just going to add them together and set them equal to 180. So 7y minus 20 plus 90 plus 47 is equal to 180 degrees. And let's combine some like terms and solve. 7y, so negative 20 plus 90 is 70. 70 plus 47 is 117, I hope. And that is equal to 180. I'm going to quickly check that. 90 minus 20 plus 47 is 117. So we're on the right track so far. Let's subtract 117 from both sides. 7y is equal to 180, subtract 117, 63. We can divide by our 7 right here, and 1y, or just y, is equal to 9. And that wraps up all 3 pages of examples. Good job, guys.